And welcome to another edition of Duckstone Sports. This week, we're previewing Week 7 in the NFL. Already Week 7 in the NFL. Can't believe it. Where's the time gone? A lot of good football the last few weeks and a lot of bad football the last few weeks. But let's start this week with the Thursday Nighter, which is the Seattle Seahawks. Take on the Arizona Cardinals. Should be an interesting one. We'll start with Seattle. Seattle, I know they don't play in a big market or anything, but Seattle's a really good football team. Does not get the due that they deserve. The Seattle Seahawks is a really good football team right now. I mean, they got it all working. They got a kick-ass defense. A defense, doesn't matter if they're home or on the road, they are just playing good. They got a running game in Marshawn Lynch, who maybe does show up for every game, but when he shows up, makes an impact. And of course, you got the dynamic Russell Wilson at QB. This guy can do it all. Pass, run, do it all. Can really run the spread option. Very, very, very good QB. But I'll hold the Seahawks, a very good football team. Maybe don't get the due they deserve. Maybe it's because they play up in the north. I don't know why, but I love watching the Seahawks. I usually like to catch their games every week because I love watching the Seahawks play. But I think they will have maybe a bit of a test this week because playing Arizona Cardinals. That might sound like a stretch. But the Arizona Cardinals are playing pretty well. I mean, they have a defense that's getting the job done. Carson Palmer is not sucking, as he did up in Oakland. And a team that can also run the football, very impressive with the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals, a Super Bowl contender? No. Will it be a playoff team? Probably not. But they're a team who is in every game they play. They give everything they got every game. And Carson Palmer's really had a rebound season. Maybe the comeback player of the year, Carson Palmer. Really played well with the Arizona Cardinals. But will they beat the Seattle Seahawks? Can they beat the Seattle Seahawks on prime time? I don't think so. I love Seattle. They're a Super Bowl contender. Let's call it this. They're one of the best teams in the NFC. In my opinion, they are the clear best team in the NFC right now. And I believe the Seattle Seahawks beat down the Arizona Cardinals, and I think the Seattle Seahawks, with Arizona being an all-right team, I think Seattle will handle them just fine. I think they win by 2 scores. All right. Oh, this is the big one. Moving over to the Sunday Nighter. It's the Colts taking on the Denver Broncos, and a little guy called Peyton Manning returning to Indy, where he spent most of his career. The first, 12 seasons of his career or something like that? Maybe not that many, but first a lot of his started career in Indy. And will be an interesting one. The emotions will be high that night. How will Peyton Manning handle the emotions? That will be very key in this game because the Denver Broncos, it's fair to say they are the best team in football. Is that fair to say? It's pretty clear to me that they are the best team in football. I mean, I don't think anybody even comes near them right now. I mean, they got it all clicking right now. Offense, they can't be stopped. Scoring averaging 40 plus points a game. Defense, maybe not the greatest defense in the world. That's what I think could hurt this team down the line. Is this defense not being a productive defense, but defense that still gets the job done week in, week out. But it all comes, when you talk about Denver Broncos, you have to talk about one man, and that's Peyton Manning. What a season he's having. It's on pace to, I think, shatter every record ever made. I mean, he's playing that well right now, on pace for 64 touchdowns, over 6,000 yards. Will he get that? Probably not, but it's good seeing him play. But another big question about Peyton Manning is that when he goes in the snow, and it's going to snow in Denver, trust me, it's going to snow there. He's not the same QB as he is inside in a dome or outside in nice warm weather. So it'll be interesting. Will this team get slowed down when it starts to get a little cold? We'll probably talk that more down the line because right now it's still warm outside, so we don't have to talk about that right now. But this week, we also got to talk about the other team they're playing is the Colts. The Colts may not be flashy, and yes, they didn't look that good last week on Monday night against the Chargers, but this Indy Colts team is a very, very good football team. Andrew Luck is slowly becoming elite QB in the NFL. A team that can now run the ball with Richardson. And a defense. Not big in stature, but man, they get the job done week in, week out. Very impressive what I've seen from the Colts right now. And you might sound a little crazy. Peyton Manning returning to Indy. This is where Peyton Manning puts on, the 4 touchdown, 5 touchdown performers like he's done all year. But there's just something different in this Colts team. I really believe in this Colts team, and I believe Peyton Manning will return to Indy and lose. That's right, the Denver Broncos will get their first loss of the season when they travel to Lucas Oil Stadium, and the Colts, an upset special in the making, the Colts upset the Broncos. Now moving over to the Monday Nighter. Won't be as good as the Sunday Nighter because we got two horrible, bad football teams right here. We got the New York Giants taking on the Minnesota Vikings. So get your popcorn ready because this one's not going to be that good. But we'll talk about it anyway. Of course, we'll start with the Minnesota Vikings. Huge news today. Josh Freeman will now be the starting QB for the Minnesota Vikings to take on the New York Giants. This should be an interesting one. Josh Freeman in Tampa. I'll say results mixed. I mean, there was times that Josh Freeman was a very good quarterback. Led a lot of comebacks. It looked like maybe 2 years ago, maybe he was on the rise. Maybe Tampa Bay Buccaneers were on the rise with Josh Freeman. But after that, just could never get on track with the new coach, and got to his doghouse quickly, and never could really rebound from that. And Minnesota, interesting team. Going into the year, I thought Minnesota was good enough to win the North. That's not going to happen. Like, there's a lot of teams competitive in the NFC North, and they are not one of them. They're probably the only team in the NFC North that probably does have a shot to win that division. Defense, not that good. Not as good as they were last year. Adrian Peterson, not even the type of year they had last year, but again, they had one of the greatest years last year. Can't really expect that again. And let's face it, the receivers, Greg Jennings has not worked out. I mean, he has not, in the first 6 weeks, has not played well in Minnesota. And all these young rookie receivers they got in the draft have not worked out. Christian Ponder has gone backwards his career. I thought he would step his game up this year and prove that he can be an all-right QB. He has not done that at all. And the Minnesota Vikings are a mess. They're a clear-cut mess, but the Minnesota Vikings, when I look at mess, they can look right across the field and look at the New York Giants, because you talk about a mess. Oh, boy, the New York Giants a mess right now. Eli Manning throwing more picks than touchdowns right now. A defense that can't stop anyone. No running game. I mean, New York Giants, this might be the worst New York Giants team of all time. It might be bold, but this is probably the worst team this is the worst I've ever seen, at least. I've been watching football since the late 90s, and probably the worst football New York Giants team I've ever seen. I mean, they can't stop anything. Eli Manning can't complete a pass. I mean, it's just awful right now. And let's face it, the season's over in New York. There's going to be they're not going to run, even if they run the table. They can only get 11 wins. That probably won't be enough to get you a wild card in the NFC. Maybe tied for a wild card, but probably not good enough to make the playoffs. It's an uphill battle for us, the Giants, and it will be interesting. What players will step up and what players will just not care and just go away. It will be interesting with both these teams, but when it comes down to it, could go either way, but I will take the New York Football Giants beat the Minnesota Vikings. All right, the rest of games this week. Atlanta and Tampa. I like the Atlanta Falcons to rebound, I think. This will be a comeback statement win for the Atlanta Falcons, and the Bucs stay winless. Carolina and St. Louis. I'll take Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers playing really well last couple weeks. Cincinnati and Detroit. I'll take the Bengals. Chargers and Jacksonville. I will take the San Diego Chargers because Jacksonville ain't winning a game this year. Miami and Buffalo. I will take Miami Dolphins. The Buffalo Bills have no hope, no prayer, no QB. They got nothing right now. New England and the New York Jets. I will take New England because they just seem to win every week. I don't know how. They have nobody around Tom Brady. But they somehow just win every week. I can't explain it. Dallas and Philly. Interesting matchup. But I will take the Dallas Cowboys beat the Philadelphia Eagles. No Mike Vick this week. So basically, I think no chance for the Philadelphia Eagles. Chicago and Washington. Easy one here. The Chicago Bears continue to roll. San Francisco and Tennessee. I will take the 49ers. Green Bay and Cleveland. Cleveland came back down to earth last week with their loss to Detroit, and they'll probably stay there because I like the Green Bay Packers this week. Kansas City and Houston. If my one prediction comes true up top, with the Colts being Denver. The Kansas City Chiefs will be the last undefeated team in the NFL. And that's a story in itself. But as seriously, I love the Kansas City Chiefs this week over the Houston Texans. And Baltimore and Pittsburgh, I will take the Baltimore Ravens over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Good week last week. 11-4, proven every week. Bring my record to 59-34. Good time. Starting to roll here. But till next time, I'm Eric Dux for saying I'm Dux, and I know sports.